You are Locked On Braves POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, your team every day.
A great night at the ballpark for the Atlanta Braves, who came home after a long road trip and a long run of games to start the season. 14 in total before they finally got an off day. And I would say a well-rested Braves club showed up at Truist Park on Friday night against the Marlins in a 3-0 win. And the biggest story of that win is Kyle Wright. We may have to rename this the Kyle Wright Show by the time we're done with what he's shown in his first 3 starts and what he showed Braves fans on Friday night. I'm Grant McAuley. He's Jake Mastroianni. This is a Locked On Braves postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. We're going to get into all of the dominance that Kyle Wright showed. The Braves offense showed up for him, backed him up in the first shutout win for the club. And we're going to do all of that and get you set up for tomorrow's Game 2, which will be another great pitching matchup of a couple of good young pitchers. But before we do that, I want to let you know you should be subscribing to the YouTube channel so you can get all of the episodes of the Braves postcast and everything else we're doing at Locked On Sports Atlanta. You subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell, get those notifications. Every time we got a new episode, you'll know all about it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Braves podcast. You can hear the Braves postcast there and every episode of Locked On Braves that Jake brings you throughout the season. Tons of Braves discussion and conversation for you, so I invite you to connect with us on all of those channels. But, Jake, the channel we're going to talk about tonight was what Kyle Wright was channeling, because it seemed like he has just turned the corner and finally put everything together after what's kind of been a long and winding road for his development. I've got no complaints about what Kyle Wright has shown us in 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And what just a great game. One of the best pitched games I've really seen in a long time. Max Fried, a game the other night was very good as well. But I mean, the way Kyle Wright was just commanding the pitches, dominating. I mean, it was something truly special. Again, 3 starts in a row now. I think it's okay for me to be excited about this Kyle Wright at this point.
Yeah, I would say so. This version of Kyle Wright has quite simply been just magnificent this year. The Braves are going to need as much as they can get consistency-wise from the starting rotation, given that short spring training and given that there have been some lumps taken in rotation by Ian Anderson, by Max Fried a little bit, by Charlie Morton. Really the real constant for the Braves rotation here in the early going, and we know there's a couple of spots that haven't even really been decided, or at least that 5th spot. But the most consistent factor in the rotation this year, Jake, has been Kyle Wright, which should surprise some. But if you've watched him pitch, it's really no question.
Yeah, it wasn't. And I mean, look, on this night in particular, 20 swings and misses. I think that's the most I've seen out of a Brave starter this year. 7 on the curveball, 7 on the 4-seam, 4 on that sinker, which was just diving in on right-handed hitters, 2 swings and misses on the changeup, threw 33 curveballs. That was the most he threw of one pitch. Had some really nice bite to it. I heard on the broadcast they were kind of comparing it to Charlie Morton's curveball, and he was just consistently keeping it at the bottom of the zone. And I know you're going to get to it, but the decision to leave him out there in the 6th inning, I saw your tweet. I'm sitting here giving him a standing ovation coming off that mound. And I thought he was clearly losing it a little bit at that point. I think you could even see it in the 5th inning, kind of losing the command a little bit. Obviously, in that 6th inning, walking a batter, only his 2nd walked batter of the year, which is so great for him. But the decision to leave him out there, Grant, I mean, that could pay dividends later on. It's just such a big confidence boost, because not only does Kyle Wright now know I can get out of those situations late in games where maybe I am tiring a little bit, but now he knows he has the confidence of his manager and his teammates that he can get out of those situations. So such a big move there by Brian Snitker and such a great performance by Kyle Wright.
Yeah, Kyle Wright, I feel like, earned that hitter, and I didn't really see too much shakiness for Wright as the night went on. I mean, the strike zone was a bit inconsistent at times, and that seemed to be more to the benefit of Marlins pitchers than Wright for the most part. But again, we can look at the umpire score tomorrow. Either way, I felt like ball 4 to Aguilar was right there on that corner. And if it had been something where he went out and walked him on 4 straight, then I'd say, okay, time to go to the bullpen. But I felt that Wright earned it. I didn't expect it when Brian Snitker came out there, but man, I'm glad he did it. And like you said, from a development standpoint, a shot in the arm standpoint, just an overall, I guess, accountability standpoint, if you want to call it that, if you go out there and pitch a game like that, I think you've earned the right to at least finish off that inning. But man, bases loaded. I was pretty excited to see Kyle Wright get some contact right back to him in that frame, pay off Brian Snitker's confidence, and finish off the night in a big-time way. Let's take you inside the box score for this game. The Braves have picked up a 3-0 win over the Marlins, who dropped to 5-8 on the year. They're shut out on 5 hits, 2 errors, 9 men left on base. Braves improved to 7-8 on the season, 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors, and 6 men left on base for Atlanta. Kyle Wright, the winner, improves to 2-0. Trevor Rogers takes a loss, drops to 0-3 on the season, and Kenley Jansen nailed down his 4th save. He did it in a game that lasted 3 hours and 4 minutes, and a crowd of 40,402 were on hand at Truist Park to see it. And we've talked about Kyle Wright. Well, guess what? We're going to talk about him some more, because this line score for Kyle: 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 1 walk, a career high 11 strikeouts for him. He did also hit a batter there. The decision by Brian Snitker we just talked about, I thought was a huge just boost for this kid if he needed one. I mean, the way he's pitching, he should be feeling pretty confident. But after this night, I think that we're going to continue to see Kyle Wright just take this success, take the ball, if you will, and keep running with it. But on the year, Jake, now here in 2022, 3 games started for Kyle Wright: 17 innings, 11 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 26 punch-outs, a 1.06 ERA. It's pretty safe to say this is the Kyle Wright the Braves were hoping to see, and then some.
Exactly. And it's, again, what we go back to, that confidence. The stuff for Kyle Wright's always been there. I think he's refined it a little bit, obviously, but it's just the confidence in knowing that he can go out there every 5th day and get through a lineup. This is so huge for the Braves. I talked about it over and over in the offseason. If there was one thing this Braves team really needed, it's somebody else in the starting rotation to step up, because they are very good at the top. Again, Max, Charlie, Ian, you expect those guys to be good, but there's going to be times where maybe one of them goes down. You need somebody else to step up, and Kyle Wright has more than done that. The patience of the Braves with Kyle Wright has certainly paid off here. Again, we're 3 starts in. I tried to temper my excitement after the first one, but I got to say now at this point, I mean, you just see it. You can see it. You can see the confidence. You see the pitches he's throwing. I think this is the version of Kyle Wright we're going to get for a while now.
Yeah, and this is attack mode as well. I know they talked about that on the broadcast. We talked about it the last couple of starts, and it's no mistake that he's getting this, I think, comparison with Charlie Morton, because this is, as we talked about a few shows ago, or a couple of starts ago for Kyle Wright, it's nothing but a good thing to have a guy with a similar arsenal who has found success, was a bit of a late bloomer. Obviously, Charlie was, even more so than Kyle Wright would be considered as far as a late bloomer is concerned. But having those two on the same staff, you can learn a lot just by watching. And I think Kyle Wright's been taking some notes. It's good to see that he went away from just being a 4-seam fastball slider pitcher to going back to, he throws that 4-seam fastball. He lives up in the zone, but he's brought back his curveball. He throws a changeup enough. He also throws that 2-seamer and gets some sinking action on that. He's got 4 good pitches. He used them all against the Marlins to great results. 95 pitches, 20 swings and misses, as you mentioned. This was just the performance for Kyle Wright, quite simply. And when you set a career high in strikeouts and blank a club for 6 innings, that can usually qualify as a career best performance. So a lot of kudos to him. Some other things to get to in this game before we do, though. Mother's Day is right around the corner, and this Mother's Day, I want you to give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com. Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off a $500 purchase. This exclusive deal is only good through Mother's Day, though. Use the code Locked On. That's code Locked On. Every order ships free, is insured, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. So you can shop stress-free and find your forever peace at BlueNile.com today. So the Braves offense was tasked with getting Kyle Wright some support in this game. They scratched out an early run, and you can thank the speed of Marcell Ozuna, of all things, for that one. And then we saw what we'd been, I think, looking forward to for the first 15 games of the year. Matt Olson with an RBI that didn't come on a solo home run. In fact, he got 2 of them. He doubled his RBI total on the year. That, Jake, was something we've been waiting on.
It was, and he's starting to get more. Even in the last game, I know they lost in LA, he was getting runners on base ahead of him. So nice to see him getting those opportunities, and nice to see the Braves scoring without the need of a home run. As you mentioned, getting the 2 RBIs and it not having to be a home run. You talk about that first inning, you get Ozzie who pokes one the other way, beats the shift. You get Olson who beats out a potential double play ball. Riley earns the walk. Olson gets moved over to third on an error. All 3 runs tonight scored were unearned. And then Ozuna, as you said, hustles down the line, beats out that double play. That was huge because Trevor Rogers really settled in after that. I know he had the second and third in the second inning with 2 outs, but he really settled in. And the Braves did not hit him hard at all tonight. They had 2 hard hit balls against him. So they really needed that. That was huge, getting that early run, especially with the way Kyle Wright was pitching. You honestly kind of felt like that was enough. So that was a huge point in that game until later in the game, like you said, Olson getting that big hit. Also, we don't have to get into the umpires too much here tonight, but two big spots in this game to two of the Braves' best hitters were really bad. You had Olson up with a runner on base and a ball called a strike that was at least 4 inches off the plate. And then Ozzie up there right before the Olson double, a ball that was half a foot off the plate away. That was two huge calls in this game where the Braves had one of their best hitters up in an RBI opportunity, and the bat was pretty much taken out of their hands.
Yeah, that was hideous. But I mean, at least the baseball gods gave the Braves a little bit of a nod after that awful call to Albies. And Matt Olson came through with the big 2-run double, made it a 3-run game. And the Braves, of course, won by a 3-0 score. But it was a frustrating night in that part. And a guy who knows a little bit about frustrating nights, Jake, would be Dansby Swanson. He's had about 14 of them, it feels like, or at least 13 of them to start the season here. But tonight, he was able to pick up a base hit. He drew a walk. The one out that he made was a 107-mile-an-hour line drive to the shortstop, so I feel pretty good about that. This is the kind of thing where I think you can start to build on it because Dansby's string of strikeouts in consecutive games to start the season ends at 14. Overall, that streak is done at 17. This is some progress, Jake. I think you can mark there. Now you just want to see Dansby continue to do it again, drawing walks, hitting the ball hard, and getting himself going because as we've seen, if you can get the bottom of the lineup going, you turn it over to the top, which for right now is an opportunity or more opportunities for Matt Olson. And not long from now will be opportunities for a guy named Ronald Acuna Jr., which is only going to make the Braves that much better if the bottom of the lineup gets going. And Dansby is one of the guys that has to get going.
Yeah, and it was the walks tonight for me for Dansby. That just tells me he's starting to see the ball a lot better. And even the at bat when he got a hit, that should have been a walk. Another hideous call, a ball that was a couple of inches below the zone, should have been ball 4. Good on Dansby to not let that get to him. Next pitch, he laces it into center field. And you mentioned the only out he made was a screamer to the shortstop, the hardest hit ball of the night by a Braves hitter, the second hardest hit ball of the night overall. So a very encouraging sign, very encouraging night for Dansby Swanson at the plate. Again, like you said, hopefully this is the beginning of a hot streak for him. We know when Dansby gets hot, he can carry an offense.
Yeah, he can certainly make his contributions to it. And the Braves, they wanted to lengthen that lineup by, having hitters in the bottom half and getting the DH back that will really help out this whole group 1 through 9. I think they've got the personnel to do it. They just got to get them going. Braves did not have Adam Duvall in this game. He was away from the team on a family matter. They're hoping to have him back this weekend. One other note about a Braves hitter who was not playing in Atlanta but was playing in Jacksonville, Ronald Acuna Jr. went 2 for 3, stole a base, his second in 3 games on his rehab assignment, scored a run on a ground ball, an infield hit. He scored a run on that. So we know that Ronald's playing all out, and those are the kind of signs you want to continue to see. So things going well for him. He played 7 innings, and I would imagine he'll continue his rehab assignment, but continue to check off those boxes, and hopefully sooner than later, we'll be seeing him atop the Braves order. Want to get you set for game 2 of the series, which comes your way on Saturday night as the Braves and Marlins meet. It'll be Ian Anderson facing Eliezer Hernandez in that game. Before we get into that, though, I want to let you know about betonline.net, your number one source for your betting stats and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, live betting, playoffs, esports, and more. That's betonline.net, where the game starts. Well, the game will be starting tomorrow night at Truist Park, and it'll be happening at 7:20 p.m. Eastern Time as Ian Anderson, a 1-1 record, ERA just under 6.5. Eliezer Hernandez, 1-1, ERA of 4.22. Keys for Ian Anderson in your eyes, Jake, as he looks to build off a good start his last time out.
Yeah, it was a good start last time. I just want to see him continue that, working that fastball up, change up down. We talked about it that last outing. He was really starting to get that change up dancing and fooling hitters, but that works off that fastball up in the zone, and that's when he's at his best, when he's able to put that change up down at the bottom, get that rising fastball up at the top of the zone. He can continue to do that, get ahead of hitters, which is huge for him. Then I think he'll have another great outing. So those are my keys for him, but I really want to see this offense get going. I'm not really saying Eleazar's the guy to do it against, but Want to see this offense continue to try to get some more production from the bottom of that lineup, and like they did tonight. Dansby getting on base. Travis Demeritte got a double in his first at bat as the Braves tonight. So I want to see more of that, seeing the bottom of the lineup flip things over for the top, continue to set up Olson and Riley with RBI opportunities.
All right, we'll see if that does indeed happen in Game 2 of the series. Truist Park to play, 7:20 p.m. Eastern Time, the first pitch. Ian Anderson, Eliezer Hernandez are the starting pitchers for these two clubs, battle of right-handers, as the Braves and Marlins meet in the middle game of this three-game series. We'll get to that. Thanks for joining us here on the Braves Postcast, though. We'll go out on that high note. This is part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Make sure you have the alerts enabled so you get the notifications for each and every one of our new episodes. And make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Braves to get the postcast as well as all the other content JCast coming your way all season long. A good one from the ballpark tonight. Once again, your final score, Atlanta 3, Miami 0. For Jake Mastroianni, I'm Grant McAuley. We will catch you tomorrow night for another edition of the Braves Postcast. So long, everyone.